This is the winter of 1726, Empire Total War, United Provinces. Everything seems to have been going very well for us very recently. We're playing this campaign on hard, of course, and it really has been touch and go. Just to remind people, before I started playing this campaign and recording this, I'd played this campaign on hard about 4 or 5 times and got to about, I don't know, the first 5, 10, 15 turns and packed in each time because it was all going so badly wrong. Part of the reason for putting this video on here was that it was started to go reasonably right, and I thought I'd got the answer to it. And 1 or 2 people had said to me they're struggling with sea battles, so I thought, right, okay, let's put a video on just so that some tips can be shared, or sea battles in particular can be shown. Well, unfortunately there haven't been many sea battles recently because we took a seed change. Really, we decided to go through Europe instead. You see that large fleet there from the Marathas. They're blocking me in Ceylon, so I've moved my fleet over to the Americas. The fleet now that the Spanish have got in the Americas is far superior to mine, so it's really consigned my fleet to the port to keep out of their way. They're getting much bigger and much more sophisticated ships now. That's partly because I was using the money that I earned from attacking their ships to pile back into my economy to develop my land armies and build fortresses and things. I had to do that because we're covering 3 different theatres. Well, things seem to be turning around now. We've managed to get our troops out of Mexico all the way through Guatemala. We've taken Panama. We're on the way to Grenada there. There's really slightly to the northeast of where we're looking now is our target. That's Andalusia. So really we need to be taking that area as well. We're working on minimal troops. I will say that's another upgrade that came out a few months ago for Empire Total War. The days of getting massive stacks of armies have all gone now because they've reduced the amount of money that you can earn. My very first campaign was done with the British, and I was earning, goodness, I can't remember now how much. It was just mega amounts of money after the first, say, 10, 15 or 20 turns or something. I can't remember now. But nobody could invade us in Britain because you couldn't do any amphibious landings, and we were just making a fortune because we were a strong sea power and we had good trade. Those things have conspired against the Dutch, I'm afraid, a little. So it has made it really quite hard to do. Okay, doing the usual thing, checking the tax in the theatre. This is Panama. We're trying to find out if we can tax or not. Notice the grey on the map there. That means that it's an untaxed area. So we're just working out what we can tax and what we can't. Sorry, it's not Panama, it's the island up there, isn't it? But, you know, it's been so long since we took that, I've forgotten what it's called. I think that's probably Cuba, that one, isn't it, up there? Yeah, this is Panama. Right. This is the one, see the tick in there, so when you look at it in the overall map I showed you before, that shows it's grey, so you get yellow for regions that are okay, green for regions that are quite happy, because they've got low taxes presumably, and red for those with that are very unhappy because they're being taxed more than they can really afford. Okay, and that gentleman that's up there, he came out in Mexico. I had nothing else I could do with him. I thought, what on earth? So I took him to the end of that peninsula. The idea was that the fleet would go and pick him up, but then an incredibly big Spanish fleet started floating around, and we thought, oops, I think we'd better stay over to the east of the Caribbean Sea, and that's where I've left my fleet ever since. You see all that red over there on the top in the Americas? Those are all the areas that are owned by the British at the moment, until the Americans revolt, of course, which we know is going to happen. I don't know if it happens exactly on the right date, but somebody's going to criticise me here. Is it 1777 or 1777? I think, the American Revolution. But anyway, it's well into the future. Us being only in 1726 at the moment, so plenty of time before that. I was hoping to get New York, but anyway, for now we'll just move the gentleman up there and see what's up there. Perhaps steal some research if we can. But, it's the best we can do with them at the moment. Just looking back again in Northern Europe now. You remember we've now got peace with Württemberg, so we don't expect them to be attacking us very soon. We lost Hanover. They got wiped out by Austria, who then tried to do a deal with us, which was just a stupid deal. There's no way we're ever going to accept that. I'm just checking generally on the troops to see what we've got in the area. France seems fairly safe at the moment because it's a long way in to France, is Paris, so the enemy have got to go quite a long way to get to it. You note, of course, that we took Gibraltar. We've now got Portugal, we've got Spain. In case you remember that fleet that I've just clicked on there, that's the one that we nudged out in the last video, because it was in a port. It was in the I can't remember if it was the Spanish or the Gibraltar port, but it was in one of the ports, and it was preventing my troops from going from Gibraltar over to Tanzania, North Africa, which is the other side, just across the water. This is the strong Spanish fleet that I can't touch them, I'm afraid. It's not even worth trying. Spanish gentleman going into my school, trying to steal my research, trying to catch up with me. That's because we have both cadence marching and fire by rank. We have all sorts of other research as well that we stole early on, and since then stuff that we've researched ourselves, but we've obviously gone in advance of other nations, because there's got quite a few nations going in and out of that school at the moment, trying to steal research from us. I'm very much looking forward to the day, it's going to be a while, when we can have some nice big ships, and I'll treat you all to some big sea battles then. 80 odd guns firing, on these massive second rates. Okay, usual turn end, got it right this time, turn end. We're now in the summer of 1727. Usual thing, clicking through the notes on the left hand side there, so that we, these are all the warnings that we've had, all the things that have happened at turn end. Seems to be getting a few more missionaries now, which is good news for us. You notice they keep disappearing though, somebody keeps killing them, and somebody made a comment recently, that these priests are hard to kill. They certainly are. Okay, another auto resolve here. They've got very few troops in there. It's not worth us messing around with a battle that's obvious and very easy to win. I wouldn't win it with any less casualties, or many less casualties anyway, so just auto-resolve that one. And so we now have Tanzania as well. That means that the Spanish armies, land armies, are nowhere near us in Europe. They have to cross other people's territories, and I'm not even sure if they're allied to those people or not. So we may well be fairly safe, except for amphibious landings, of course, from the Spanish in Europe. I suspect, with all those big fleets around, that it's costing them all the money that they're getting from the land that they've got at the moment. I said this in the previous video, I know, but I'm rather hoping that will be the case, and we'll now go on and take Grenada, and we'll take Andalusia, and there's another place up there as well. I'm not too sure exactly what that is, but in the Americas, so we'll have that one as well. I suspect that's the way to go, and I just hope that Spain then goes towards bankruptcy, and that's a way of either reducing them in the game or getting rid of them altogether. I'm hoping perhaps even the British will start going for their fleets as well, especially if the Spanish start to reduce. Or maybe the Spanish will go for the British fleets, and exhaust themselves on that. What we're doing now is sorting out the buildings, again replenishing the troops as we normally do. Improving any churches that we might have, destroying any universities. The usual thing, anything that will give us minuses, we need to get rid of straight away, and then the following turn, I made a mistake again that time. The following turn, then what we'll do is we'll construct some buildings like Protestant churches, or pleasure gardens, coaching houses, etc. Okay, I hope to see you on the next video. It's just our diplomacy, showing who's friendly, who isn't. And what the Spanish have got left there. Only 2 areas in Europe.